I want to hear a sigh from everyone. Receive a breath. And then a nice good old sigh. Well, we had Cerrito-san here the other night, and she's the one that has a ministry of laughter. So inhale, and then aha. I mean, it doesn't take much to get that soul going. Can we do? Can we do one more? It's good for the soul. Well, we laugh, but you know the end of Yogananda's poem, Samadhi, where he, actually tried to write about an experience that you can't write about, that you cannot grok with a human intellect, but he tried, and he did a pretty good job of it, to say the least. But the very last two lines is this: a tiny bubble of laughter. I am become the sea of mirth itself. So his experience of being one with all that was that there is this reality that is mirth, that is laughter, that is joy, that is celebration, ongoing throughout eternity. And we, the soul, the little bubble of the soul, is made in that perfect image, just like a drop of the ocean has the same exact ingredients as the ocean, that really underscoring every detail of our existence is this laughter. Because the reality is so beautiful that even your most horrific, challenging episode or scenario in life, you just will look at it and just laugh because it has absolutely, as Shakespeare said, much to do about nothing. So, well, welcome to the Soul Center Foundation for Spiritual Awakening, which has been founded by Trisha and I. So that we had a forum, that we had a space that we know we can't live without, an environment to grow our awakening. So in some ways it was what is called sacredly selfish, in that we need you. We need your soul. We need to feel that oneness that comes when we show up just for soul, and that's soul reunion with spirit, and anything that can help us move towards that already perfect oneness. This is why we created the Soul Center Foundation for Spiritual Awakening. And it's contagious. You have one positive thought today, and it'll have tremendous impact in the world. And if you have many, and you're able to sustain that wherever you go, will help lift a very heavy load that a lot of human beings are carrying because of them identifying with a heavy load versus that bubble of laughter, which your soul is. We have a special guest. Yes, this is not Trisha.
You'd be in trouble if I was Trisha.
She's in Ireland, though I think their hearts are in the same place. She's in Ireland today. She's went there to go on a retreat, and I heard that she's going to be blogging on our SRF website, so you guys can follow her adventures there and her experiences there. But I was kidding Bhava when he came, because he taught the class like Trisha and I do on Sunday. And I said, really, Bhava, the reason why I invited you here this Sunday, because I was going to miss my honey so much that I needed somebody. And he is more than just a somebody. He's a soul. He's not a body. He's a soul. So welcome, everyone. This is Bhava Ram, and he's going to share the morning with me. Mm-hmm. Bhava.
It's really good to be here. And Tom said that he likes to start with a prayer. So let's close our eyes for a moment, and once you do, just feel your whole body. And then bring your consciousness down to the light of your heart. And I loved what Tom just said about sacred selfishness, because that's the higher self that I know he's talking about in this regard. And my prayer is that we all come home to truth in every breath that we take. My prayer is that we allow our souls to lift on high. my prayer is that in every day, in every way, when we face all those things in our lives that don't give us a bubble of laughter, that we come home to where you are right now, to the light of our heart, and that we remember who we are. And we remember that we are filled with endless power and potential, that we are filled with grace and wisdom. And my prayer is that we all remember every day. This is called vidya in Sanskrit, the wisdom of what it really means to be alive. And my prayer is that in that realization, that we spend a lot of time serving ourselves and serving others in every way that we can. Namaste. So in Deep Yoga, which is what I teach, we open every class or training or workshop or retreat with an invocation, which is the Guru's sloka, and it's to Brahma and Vishnu and Shiva, which are the forces of creation and sustainment and then ultimately transformation that are within all of us. Om Guru Brahm Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshvara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tahi Asmahi Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshvara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tahi Asmahi Shri Gurave Namaha. Then I'm going to invite you to sing Oh My Soul with me. Oh, oh my soul, 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 oh my soul. One more round. Oh my soul, oh my soul, oh my soul. You know, one of the things that we learn from all of the teachings and that you've heard in 1,000 ways from Tom and Trish is that you and the divine are one. You always have been and you always will be. And that's Aham Brahmasmi. I and the divine are one. Aham Brahmasmi. 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 Oh my soul, oh my soul. oh my soul, oh my soul, oh my soul, oh my soul. So I mentioned vidya, or wisdom, that's embodied within each and every one of us. And so I think that's what I'd like to talk about in my portion of our talk today. When we lose vidya, when we lose that wisdom and that experience and that knowing that we really are connected and we really are supported and we really are one with all that is, when that goes away, what happens? We suffer. And most of the time, we lose that wisdom because we live in a world, in a culture that makes it very, very difficult to stay connected with that truth. Very difficult. It really is in this world of ours. And this is a great country. We have so much freedom and we have so much abundance in our lives, and we really should feel blessed about that because it gives us an opportunity to gather as we're gathering today, and it gives us an opportunity to really seek to unfold our fullest potential and to really come to an understanding of who we are. But part of being in this country is also very difficult, and it's like a tidal wave that's always flooding over us of basically disinformation and distraction and disharmony. And it's called mass media. Mass media permeates our lives 24/7. Even if you don't watch TV or don't have a radio or don't get on the internet, which isn't very likely, okay? It still permeates your life because it permeates the consciousness of most all of your brothers and sisters, everybody who you relate with in your life. And the whole focal point of mass media is to agitate you. Because when you become agitated, you need something to quell that agitation. And they have just the thing. Okay? They have a lot of things for you, right? They have a new car, a trip somewhere, a new product, a new widget, something else that you need to make you whole and happy and healthy, something to make your sex life better, to make your social life better, to make your professional life better. And what happens, right? You get it, and none of that really gets better. You like your new car for a while, it smells good and everything's cool, but after a while it's dented and scratched and you're back into your old drama and everything's back where it was, and then you need something else because you're constantly in this state of agitation.
Can I just pause for a second? Because some of you don't know his background, but if you go to Soul TV and go to Soul Live, you'll see our interview that we had a couple weeks ago. But anyway, for years he was a CNN war correspondent.
NBC.
So it was at NBC, yeah. So it was NBC. So he has a little bit of background on media.
Yeah. Massively. And so what we do is we make what I call a Faustian bargain. You remember Faust, and he made this bargain to have some power in his life, but he made it with somebody he shouldn't have made it with, and at the end, he was in a dark place. And we make this Faustian bargain, and what it is in order to get a little bit out of the pain and anxiety that we feel from being alive, we get some really cheap entertainment, right? We get some primetime TV shows that are really kind of meaningless, vicarious living, right? Or you get to watch the game or whatever it happens to be. And the Faustian bargain that you make is that you surrender your consciousness. You surrender this sacred, sacred thing within you, your consciousness, your mind. You surrender it for a little bit of entertainment. And as a result, we get programmed. We get brainwashed. We become consumers. Think about that. Consumers. Right? And then we spend our lives consuming things, looking for happiness, consuming people in our relationships, just consuming, and never really fully digesting or integrating all these things that we're consuming. And I mean, if you think you don't overconsume, just go look in your closet or your storage space or wherever it happens to be. And what are we doing in all of this? What I would like to say is that in everything that we are consuming, except for those things we need, you know, we need nourishment, we need food, we need shelter, we need basic things. We're looking for God. Yes, we need much less than we have. We're always looking for God. Every time we're feeling pain, we believe, or we've been led to believe, that that pain will be assuaged by a new experience or, you know, a new possession, a new acquiring of something. And it never is, because that wasn't where God was. Ever. And never will be. So it's this false quest. It's like being Don Quixote and tilting at windmills all the time. And we never get anywhere with it. And this is what spiritual practice is all about, and what Tom and Trish have developed here at the Soul, which is utterly amazing. Because Vidya is realizing who we really are and realizing that we're not consumers. Vidya is reclaiming our power and owning our truth so that we reclaim our consciousness. In yoga, in a mindful yoga class, we will do mantra almost all the way through. In co-teaching this morning with Tom, he's such a beautiful teacher, and I noticed, you know, how he had the class, many of you were there, repeat little phrases and sentences. He's bringing your consciousness back, and I was inviting you to constantly bring your consciousness back into the light of your heart. When we repeat a mantra, when we move toward a state of meditation, when we move toward a state of really being present and just being here, and practice what the Yoga Sutras call Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, stilling the fluctuations of the mind, the very next sutra says, and then the veil is lifted over the soul. So it's always coming home. It is a radical revolution, because when you embrace yoga and you own your truth and you live from that place, you no longer are part of that mechanism that drives the economy. It's a radical revolution, a revolution of the soul, a revolution of peace, of truth, of integrity, and authenticity. And we can find in our yoga practice so many different elements that take us there. So many, even from our asana practice. If you can stand in Virabhadrasana, in warrior pose, with a deep bend in your knee and a burn in your thigh, and you can hold a smile on your face, and you can stay centered in your breath, and you can stay centered in a mantra, then you can go out and stand like that in your truth in life when it gets very difficult. It's a metaphor for how to live off the mat. As you become more flexible and more balanced in your body and more rhythmic in your breath, you can take that wisdom out into your life when you meet Ravana. Because I don't know how familiar you are with the Ramayana, but we were chanting Sri Ram in the class this morning, and Ram was this yogi, was banished from the kingdom out into the forest. His beloved Sita was stolen from him by this great demon who lived high up in the mountains and had millions and millions of wicked soldiers, and just rained terror and pain down upon everyone. And ultimately, Ram had to do battle with Ravana to win his beloved back, and the monkey god Hanuman helped him. And you are Ravana, and you are Ram, and you are Hanuman, because they're all just aspects of you, right? And so the battle is to regain our consciousness and overcome those forces which are taking our consciousness away from us. That is the journey of yoga, where we're going. And one key element beyond asana and pranayama and pratyahara, we find in the 8 limbs of yoga, the Ashtanga system, not the beautiful power yoga asana practice, but Ashtanga, the 8 limbs of yoga, is articulated in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. The second limb is called the niyamas, which are basically your relationship with life. And the very final one is Ishvara Pranidhana, which is a constant awareness, devotion to, and connection with the divine. And if we can practice this in our daily lives, we will no longer be attracted by that Ravana of mass media. We will no longer feel that we are surrendering our consciousness. We will no longer feel the anxiety and the discomfiture that most of us do feel to varying degrees in our lives. We won't need Prozac anymore or any of that. Because your whole life, every moment that you live, is showered in miracles. Showered in miracles. But you have to be in the light of your heart to experience them. Because most of the time, when we are in the busyness of our minds, which is predominantly delusional, there's about 10% of good stuff going through there. And then the rest of it, we don't need. But when we're down here, and we're really present, and we're in this moment, as we all are in together right now, there are endless miracles. The next breath that you're going to take into your body is an absolute miracle. It is a divine gift. It is better than a beer or a margarita. It is better than fresh juice. It is the gift of life flowing into you. And the next time you exhale, it's a miracle. And when we're silent enough and we hear the birds sing, that's a miracle. And when we walk outside the studio and we see a little weed growing up through a crack in the cement, that's a miraculous affirmation of life. Do you remember when you were a child and you saw your first rainbow? Or your first waterfall? Or your first shooting star? Or especially if you were a little boy, your first snail walking across? Wow, Daddy, look at that. Do girls dig those too? Okay. Yeah. Everything was a miracle because you hadn't surrendered your consciousness yet. Everything was a miracle. You know, Mommy, Daddy, look at that bird. Look at the sky. Look at this thing. You know. And yoga invites us to come back to that place because that's where we find the divine. When you wake up in the morning and the sun is shining, that's a miracle. And when you wake up in the morning and it's raining, that's an absolute miracle. They're constantly showering down on you in your life. They're calling and whispering to you, and all we have to do is slow down enough and come into our hearts and to listen. And we will have that grace, we will have that blessing, we will have peace. And when we do that, and we come into that place, and we feel showered with miracles, I guarantee you'll know what to do in your life. Because you'll be connected to your heart. And your deeper wisdom wants a dialogue with you at all times. And that's a miracle too. And when we listen to that voice, we are in vidya. We are back in the wisdom of truth. We are standing in yoga. And then we can make a contribution to the world from that state of being. And that too is also standing in yoga. Thank you.
As Bhava's sharing this way, as you know, Trisha usually will start and share, just like Bhava started and shared. And oftentimes, if not all the time, when Trisha's sharing, that I'm just feeling such a sense of awe and presence, just overall. And I know not to identify that it's Trisha sharing, but something is here with us. And that if we can be in vidya, in that open wisdom of the heart, then it comes through. So, but what I just experienced as Bhava was sharing was that it has nothing to do with Trisha and Bhava. I could sit here the rest of my life and we'd never call in a guest, and I'd sit here with Trisha, and then I could probably still think, oh, my wife, she's so wonderful, which she is, right? Or if I sat here with Bhava all the time and I go, Bhava, he's this amazing guy, he's so full of wisdom. But it's so much bigger than that. What we're hearing this morning, because it just brought so much joy to me, to hear it reframed from another soul awakening. Just like my soul awakening, and some of you might just go, wow, that was just perfect for my soul. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Because this is the universal language of love we're talking. This is the universal experience of awakening that is happening to, yes, you and me right now. This is our time. This is our incarnation. So a little story came to me as Bhava was talking about the Ravana on the mass media, and it was this character actor by the name of George Raft. Did anyone ever hear of him? He just had all these character parts back in the day. Anyway, he had a habit of amassing millions and then blowing millions and then amassing millions and blowing. So they were interviewing him one day and said, George, what's going on? I mean, what do you do with your money? Why do you lose it? And this is what he said. He said, part of it goes for gambling, part of it goes to women, and part of it goes to drinking, and the rest I spend foolishly. So totally, when you're given over to the mass media, when your consciousness is a slave to that, that's the kind of reasoning, and that's avidya. That's ignorance. Vidya is wisdom. Avidya is not wisdom or ignorance. So, yeah, we do have a Ravana around us, but I remember as a minister in SRF, and I was giving talks, I'd often read a quote from Socrates about today's teenagers, about the teenagers back in the day. In Socrates, but I wouldn't tell everyone this is from Socrates. I'd just read this quote about teenagers, and it was so modern, it's so applied to today's world, that when I did say, and that was from Socrates, people go, whoa. It was like that back then? Yeah. Do you ever feel like Groundhog Day? I don't care what yuga or what period of evolution or devolution that you're in, because it is cyclical, right? This whole thing is cyclical. We are moving on an upward cycle right now. We are moving up. And then we'll go to a golden age. And then we come down from a golden age and back to the Kali Yuga, which at the lowest part of the Kali Yuga was when Christ was crucified. The lowest part of consciousness that can happen on the planet was when they crucified Christ. And when St. Francis was out in the forest one day and he's just crying inconsolable tears, and I mean just that his brothers could console him, nobody could console him. And so one of the brothers asked him, why are you crying? And he said, because love is not being loved. No, got crucified. The consciousness in that man Jesus, the consciousness was so low, no one owned it. Delusion owned it, that they crucified love itself. And you know what Yogananda said? So many centuries later, yet they crucify the Christ consciousness. We crucify the Christ consciousness every day ourselves. When we give ourselves over to avidya, or the ignorance. So it's interesting too that he said 3 words that just rang out to me when he started. Bhava Ram started to talk about the limbs and about these practices of yoga, which, wow, we could go on and on and on, couldn't we? The benefits of yoga. Could be an ongoing new TV show. The benefits of yoga, right? I don't think we could ever sell that script right now, not with the consciousness on the planet. Not yet. Someday we would, right? Stories of how a soul awakens on the planet, right? But anyway, the 3 words that really rang to me, in this moment. He said those. In this moment. There's never been more powerful affirmation. If you want to reclaim your wisdom back, this is the beginning of any kind of practice. In this moment, say to yourself. As you're watching the TV and you realize, whoa, if you can realize, whoa, that I'm really sucked in, and see if you can actually say those words and mean it. Because this is how delusion is so strong, that when we're in the delusion, this is why the yogis say never play with delusion, never play with temptation. You know, you just say, I'm curious, you know, I used to enjoy this thing, I think, but it's been so many years now that I wouldn't be affected by it, right? And so it's like a Pandora's box. It never goes away, lower consciousness, not while you're on this planet Earth. It'll never go away. It's just you've gotten a little higher. So if you expect that you're going to go, I want to take a little peek in this Pandora's box just to see how I am now proof against temptation, right? That this doesn't, there you go. The moment you give a little crack to this thing called Maya or delusion, you're lost. So the yogis say that really it makes life quite simple for you and me. Because again, ignorance is that you thinking that you can do this on your own. That your life, probably the most dangerous part of life, is to think that things are a kind of okay right now. I don't care who we are. That includes me. That things are kind of, that's one of Maya's greatest parts of the veil that just comes over us. That, wow, you know, I'm doing okay. But in a sense that if our consciousness is still being drawn outside, and in the most innocent of ways, right? Look at sports. You didn't mention sports, but that's that's part of mass media too.
I said the game.
The game, the game, yeah. Innocent enough, you know. My mother said recently, because we grew up as Dodger fans, because we grew up in LA. I was also a Ram fan because the Rams were there. And when the hockey team were the Blades, the Los Angeles, because we had season tickets to everything. So I was an LA fan through and through. Well, my mother said not long ago that when the voice of the Dodgers is this guy, Vin Scully, right? And he's been voicing the games for forever. She says, you know what? I just can't live without Vin Scully's voice. It's like, right? She feels safe with Vin Scully's voice. That she knows life is okay with Vin Scully's voice. So, in this moment then, if we want to start to claim back our wisdom, ask yourself, what is my highest wisdom this moment? What is wisdom to me in this moment? What is it? You know, just ask yourself, in this moment, is wisdom guiding my life? You know, is Krishna driving the chariot of my life? Is the highest Buddhi mind driving the chariot of my life? Or have I completely gone to a level where I don't know and I don't care? And I'm totally identified with the Maya or the delusion. That is called the manas mind or the sense-identified mind. So what is your ask yourself right now, what is my highest wisdom? Where can your heart, that light of the heart the Bhava so beautifully talks about, where can it take you? Where can it inspire you to go? When you check in. See, God can't check in for you, my dears. And truth, all the truth you have on your bookshelf. You guys got some amazing truth on your book. What is it doing for you now? Huh? All the stuff that you've heard. How many sermons and inspirational talks have you heard over many lifetimes? What is it doing for you now? So, you know, one thing to really celebrate in this Aquarian age is that we're leaving that Piscean age of someone saying, here it is. You listen to what I have to say because I have it. And you listen to me and you're lesser than because you don't have it and I have it. And that includes every major religion on this planet as well. Whereas the Aquarian religion is similar to this. Yogananda said there won't be the big churches one day. We'll all be sitting under trees, dialoguing. Breathing in this fresh air of the moment, right? Listening to each other speak so that we can empower each other no matter what comes out your mouth. That we can hold the space knowing that each of you are a child of the infinite. That you are beautiful. No one's ever going to take that away. I don't care how many lifetimes we're under the delusion. Nobody can take it away unless you choose to give your mind to the darkness or to the distraction. So as soon as you say, in this moment, I choose that I'm with God right now. I choose that God is my only reality right now. I choose to embrace that reality right now. Wow. Wow. You know what happens? You put up a shield of light around your etheric body and around your physical body and around your mental body and your emotional body, where that delusion cannot get in as soon as you say the word Rob. What did Gandhi say? His last words when the bullet hit him in the chest. What did he say? Rob. Rob. Oh, Rob. Oh, God. Well, I don't think that just came to him in the moment. I mean, that took lifetimes of him turning to the source until he made the source a constant companion. So here's another thing. And in fact, when you talked about how a moment of breath is better than any health that you can acquire in a physical body. It's greater than anything outward to come to you. And my whole class yesterday was the practice on the mat. Breathe in, breath of God, and breathe out, thank you for this moment. Breathe in, breath of God, thank you for this gift. So in this moment, this could be your highest wisdom. Breathe in a breath that you guys can't control and you didn't create it. It is God saying, if you don't breathe right now, your physical body's not going to do so well. So I became your breath. Actually, Divine Mother became her breath because God was smart enough to put a woman in charge. The Cosmic Mother, Mahaprakriti. She is our breath. To breathe in, to say, you are my little babe. So I love to see the prenatals come in here with their little babies. I mean, well, they come in here, but then after the babies are born, they come in and they have the little mommy and me class. It's the best class that we have going here. If ever you guys want to be uplifted from the gloom, right, and from the mass media, come and sit in here and be that little baby. Helpless. And all the mothers, they're just like total like Divine Mothers, right? They're just like, that's Divine Mother right now with you and me. Avidya, ignorance is going to make you feel like you've grown up. Excuse me? Huh? Just go to one of those high school reunions and see who's growing up. Right? You guys still have those friends, like they still are actually, they're graying, they're wrinkled, they're dying, and they still want to do what they did in high school. Right? They never want to stop doing what they did in high school. So yeah, so just, in this moment, I breathe in that which gives me life. That's a gift. What do you usually say when you have a gift? Someone gives you a gift.
Thank you.
Ah. Hello. One of the greatest yogic practices of all. Oh, by the way, one of the greatest mystical Christian practices of all. Oh, by the way, one of the greatest Sufism practices of all. And you go down your list of all the great mystics that have come out from the tradition of being kind of told what to do, and then starting to say, you know what, I have to reclaim my own consciousness breath by breath. I don't care if I'm in the time of Socrates, I'm in a lower yuga or in an upper yuga, it doesn't matter what time, so we can't blame the times. Darn it. And I don't think we can blame our families, darn it, right? And I don't think we can blame anything, because as soon as they play the blame game, there goes the consciousness, right? No, where we are at now on the planet, hallelujah, is that souls are awakening and they're saying, I can't wait anymore for someone to do this for me. I can't wait to come to class and have Bhava Ram lead the yoga and inspire me. Or Trisha. I can't wait for that. I have to figure out there when I'm face-to-face with Ravana, or I'm face-to-face with wanting to just open up the whole darn Pandora's box and letting the whole thing overwhelm me, that's the time I need to slam the door shut on the box, divert my attention, and then call on the Lord's name, or say in this moment, and do some deep breathing until I can regain some kind of Arjuna self-control. Every mystic that has become one with God has developed self-control. And you know what I've learned about self-control? That as soon as I think that I'm the one developing it, it ain't self-control no more. You know? And the ego lets me get a little proud. Ooh, I'm so good. And then, I can do this, and I'm going to look in the box at the same time. And then, boom, down I go. So I had a discovery recently. That real self-control comes from the sincerity of your heart, or the light of your heart, making a sincere effort to be in the present moment of truth. And when we make the sincere effort to be in this present moment of whatever our highest wisdom may be, and it may be that you guys just run the other way from temptation, that may be your highest wisdom, right? Until you're out of that environment, till you're out of that energy, and then you start your breathing, whatever it is. Highest wisdom for you is that next level where you are not entrapped in this tidal wave. And start your process of one breath at a time to receive this tidal wave of spirit supporting you. So this is what I discovered. Making those little efforts on a regular basis, coming to any class, I don't care who it is. Doesn't matter who's teaching it, as I told you, now that I've learned from Bhava, that it's whether it's Bhava or Trisha or one of you. As long as you're open in your heart, as long as you guys are living the life purely, you could probably sit in this chair and inspire multitudes. Until then, just keep busy with your life. But here's what I found out. That true self-control is grace. And grace comes from making these spiritual efforts one at a time. In just this moment, Lord, can I be present to you? Can I be present to love? In this breath, Lord, can I not use this beautiful opportunity of having health in my body to forfeit my consciousness while I have health in my body, which will abuse my body? You have some health in you all look, none of you look, anybody breathing in pain right now, raise your hand. Do you know what the purpose then of the health that you have in your body is? Wisdom. In this moment, in this breath. Because when your body is not feeling too good, and as Bhava started his talk today about suffering, when we've suffered long enough, you know why we've suffered? Do you know really what to know the primary cause of why any being suffers on this planet is? You've taken it for granted. Mm-hmm. You've taken life for granted. Which is wisdom, which is the avidya, or the ignorance, is one of its greatest tools. It's also called, in today's language, entitlement. And we hear our young people, and I'm sure the Socrates young people had their so-called, but Mom, It's my right. Well, I learned the hard way in the ashram, you know. You know what happens, in you want to see how the devolution works? You think you can get away, you're an exception to something, some universal law, right? Even if you're aware of the laws. You feel you're an exception to something, and you're conscious, it's kind of, but you do it anyway. And there's a little voice that kind of, you feel it the first time. But, hey, got away with it. Right? No one knew. So the second time, you give it a shot, and that little voice isn't there as much. That conscience, I guess, is what you call it. And then you feel no one knew. And the third time that you go down that road, you know what you say to yourself? It's my right. It's my entitlement. And no one can take away this delusion from me. So now we just are forming a new tidal wave, my friends. It's a new tidal wave. In this breath, Lord, I have no rights. I once gave a yoga class, boy, had the wrong person there because she was a leader in the human rights movement. And I'm talking this way. That, we really have no rights except for the one right that we don't need a right. We're children of God. We're above rights, right? Oh man, I got a letter. Because, it's not quite understood, even though you're kind of saying it in a way that is above that. But really, what if you breathed in and you just said, wow, Lord, in this moment, I'm with you. Thank you for this gift as you breathe out. Next breath, I'm with you. Exhale, you're with me. Something simple like that. Then all of a sudden the thing changes. You see, it changes on a dime. You can't really be in two worlds at the same time. There is really, really no gray, although the ego would love you to all think that there's a lot of gray area where you and I can slip and slide. And as Simon said, the nearer the destination, the more I slide away. Can you play that on your guitar?
I don't know that one.
Oh, good. Well, brush up on it. It's such a good song, and Neil Simon, it is really a catchy tune.
Paul Simon.
Oh, Paul Simon, yeah. Paul Simon. Yeah, especially when it comes. So, and then he mentioned Ishvara Pradhana, right? The last of the niyamas, or those things that you and I really, really, really need to pay attention to and adhere, like peanut butter. It's called stick-to-itiveness to these things that do bring us into wisdom. And this idea of surrender. And I go back to that. I've grown up way, 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 way too fast. I've often said that the only reason they've created yoga clothes, these are yoga outfits that you and I wear to these classes, so that we could take our smarty pants off and leave them outside the room so we can come in a new outfit, right? So we can feel like we're in a new consciousness when we walk into the sacred doors. The martial artists have it way over the yogis right now. Because you know what they do before they get onto the mat? They bow their head before they come into their place of practice. Before they interchange while in practice, they bow their head. And when they leave, before they leave, they just don't walk out of here. They just don't go back to their life. They just don't go back to letting mass media own them. They bow again at their place of worship. So, this is why, let's don't grow up too fast, you guys. In fact, if you want to be a yogi, you surrender. And as Yogananda said, Divine Mother, I am thy little babe, thy helpless babe, secretly sitting on your lap of immortality. I will steal my way to heaven secreted on your lap. In the shelter of your lap, I will steal my way to heaven. Oh, a Prim Avatar, you know, a Jiva Mukta, someone who's liberated, someone who has that divine consciousness, who doesn't have to come back to earth, who came back because Divine Mother said, boy, they need you, Yogananda. Is to say, I am helpless. I am helpless. Meaning, what he's saying, that I no longer get confused or diluted by my manas mind, my limited human thinking. I am totally identified with my soul. And it's already perfect union with Spirit. And in doing that, I am humbled. I am in awe. I am in each moment saying, thank you, 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 Spirit. And in doing that, he's developed such calmness and intuition that his intuition then takes the place of his manas thinking. The buddhi, the higher mind intuition. So he can actually live. We can actually live like the Divine Mother is carrying us through life. We can really designate our driving of our car of life to the soul, the intuition of the soul, because Divine Mother will then drive the car of your life perfectly and navigate you through the day. And you don't have to think. You don't have to buy in. You're just totally established in that yoga or that union of your soul with Spirit. So practice these two things. He started it this morning. We didn't talk about what we're going to talk about, which is always a good thing. Wisdom, vidya. In this moment, I choose you, Lord. And then that sweet surrender, when your mind kicks in and your desires kick in and all that, have a good energy strategy to follow the trail of good energy to those good places, those places that will uplift you. Then you guys thinking, oh, yeah, I'll come to church every now and then. I'll go do this. And then you're watching the thing on TV and you think, oh, it's harmless enough. And then the next night you're watching something else. And then the next day you're doing something else. It adds up. But we're talking about a full campaign for your soul right now. And whether you go to deep yoga to be with Bhava, so if you live in the southern part of the county down there, Ginseng Yoga is where he teaches, or you're in North County and you come here. But we're on a mission. We're not just about, here, put your arm under here and squeeze your palms. Right? We have a program where we first are following these little steps. I loved your 8 steps that you gave during class. Where we practice living them first, and then, by the way, anyone want to join us and we'll practice together a way out of this ignorance and into that little babe, so Divine Mother can carry you through life. And as Yogananda says, and I'll end with this, and we'll float through life on buoyant wings of peace.
So Monica's passed
Oh, my soul. 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 Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. Oh my soul. Oh my soul. Oh my soul. Oh my soul. My soul. Oh my soul.